Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
2023, you guys, and I'm winging it. Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. That's the website, The Dork Forest, if you like a determiner. Dorkforest.com also works. JackieCation.com has all of my stand-up information. Like, it has videos, it has pictures, it has links to this podcast and to my other podcast with Lori Kilmartin. It has a merch store that has Dork Forest t-shirts. It has all of my stand-up merch and all of my CDs and DVDs. So, that's what you know about websites. There's an opportunity because we're in the new year here that you can donate to the Dork Forest. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have anything really set up, though I understand you can set up on PayPal a monthly if you wanted to. You could donate and be of to support the show. This is the 17th season, the 17th year I've been putting this stuff out. It's free, but if you have money and would like to throw me some money, boy, howdy. There's a PayPal. There is at my email address, actually, Jackie@JackieCation.com, which you can also email me and tell me how much you're enjoying the show. You can also do Venmo if you'd like, which is just Jackie Cation. No hyphen, all one word. Picture of this person, me, and then I think that's it. I think I have Zelle, but it's too complicated. Other than that, let's do the credits. Patrick Brady still in, fixing the audio all these years later. Give it up to Patrick Brady. That's what a lot of your donations support, by the way, because I like to share the wealth. And then Bill Mose, he does the websites, and Mike Ruekberg wrote and sang that song, composed and sang that song with his wife now, Sarah. And at the end, he sings the Mexican hat dance, which is always fun. Anyway, I'm sure there's more to it. There's a band camp that has a bunch. It has like a stand-up storytelling album that was never released. It's there's also a bunch of live episodes that many of them are free. There were 200 episodes that were not pre-recorded, and I sort of culled through those, and I pulled like 17 of the best ones. There's an album collection of that, 17 hours of Dork Forest. If you run through all of the episodes, go to bandcamp.com, Dork Forest, or Google those words, and you'll find it. Anyway, there's probably more. I can't remember any of it, but you're doing great. Feel free to enjoy the show.
Oh my God, Jackie Cation here in my garage with founding member of the Dork Forest, Joe Wilson. Welcome back to the program. How are you?
I'm doing great. Other than the whole cancer thing, everything is great.
Except for the stage 4 cancer.
How are you? I'm great.
Well, it's
is that really the garage? Is that
yeah,
the garage?
That's the garage.
Oh,
yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, we
I didn't know. Oh, nice.
We had a guy. There was a guy who built a tiny room onto the garage. We call it the room of requirement. Get it?
I get it.
Mostly what is required is us hiding from each other and Andy's mom. So that's
I live everybody loves Raymond distance away from my mother-in-law. So
I bet. It's that is
it's fun. Mm-hmm.
There's a pop-in. Is there a pop-in sometimes?
There's a lot of pop-ins. Yeah.
All right. Just check it in.
Pop-ins. Not a lot of laugh track.
No laugh track. Oh, do you know what? It's an art sitcom.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was recorded in front of a live studio audience, they would have howled. But
it feels more like MASH.
Not for so much for the single cameras.
Exactly.
Did you having? Here's some that I'm totally off on a tangent. Barney Miller trivia for you. They only recorded the first episode in front of a live audience. They never had one back ever again. They shot it like a movie.
Oh my God. That's fascinating. Did they use the laugh track from that
no,
from that first episode?
No. Oh yeah, they did on that one. Everything else was just, done in post.
Just canned.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Barney Miller dorks out there.
Which I consider myself one. I've never the dorkdom that I have for many TV shows is pretty casual. Like when I get someone on who's like, and then on episode 4, I'm like, okay, good for you. Good for you. I want to hear it. But so 17 years ago, you and I, Joe Wilson, went on Blog Talk Radio.
This isn't Blog Talk Radio right now?
This is not. This is not. I am posting this while I drive though. So the I think I heard about podcasting at that mic or that book show by the ice. It was the hookah bar. Remember that?
Gypsy Cafe
in Westwood.
In Westwood, yes.
Some other comic whose name was lost to the ether. He said that he was doing a podcast, something called a podcast from Blog Talk Radio, and I was like, "What is it?" And then I decided to do it, but I couldn't do it alone because I didn't know the tech. So you came in, and so easily the first 3 years, maybe 5, I should find that out. It was you and me co-hosting.
No, I think it was I think it was like 2 or 3.
You think it was 2 or 3? Yeah,
something like that.
And then remember, Jimmy Pardo and Mike Schmidt got in a fight about their podcast.
Vaguely.
Okay, here's what I remember: a lot of podcast history.
Let's do some podcast talking, shall we?
Well, I just remember that they got mad and Mike left the show, and about a month after that, you were like, "You know what? I'm going to do other things," and I was like, "Yeah." And when you left, here's what I did not realize: how much you did.
Yes, I did. I did have a project I co-produced with someone, and my co-producer said, "Producing's easy. Joe does all the work." Right.
That was. Did I say that, or was that somebody else?
No. That was
because that's how I lived. Let's say that I lived in that sentence. Because you left, and I was like, "Oh my God, he does pre-production stuff. He does all the tech."
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
And then I did so many other podcasts, and then people suddenly knew what podcasts were once I had stopped for like 5-10 years. Right. Remember when I had to explain? I'm still explaining to my mother what a podcast is because I have to. I'm like, think of it like like radio, like national, like when they talk, like when the lady talks to a person and it's like an interview and it's really long.
Look at this.
Hey, I know you, Andy Ashcraft. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am groovy.
He is groovy. I'm going to repeat everything Joe says.
That's because you have the headphones on.
I do have the headphones on. So,
how lovely to see you.
And he's in his kitchen.
That's right. Ta-da!
You've been here.
He's been there.
I have.
I've been there. All right. We are going to talk, and then, So
because I did what was called at that point, everything was AST, was radio, something Dark Horse Radio, AST Radio. And so I did a few AST radios with Matt Belknap, and the last one I did was with Jimmy Pardo. And then I had some like movie thing writing and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be able to do the podcast for a while because I got to go like head down on this thing for like 6 weeks. And Never Not Funny was born.
Oh my gosh.
Because I just done the show that Karen Rontowski put together, the benefit for the residential rehab.
Oh, place. Right, the rehab thing.
And so he got a standing ovation, just crushed.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about the show and what happened and things. And then I remember Matt Belknap saying, okay, well, enough of that. Let's start the show. And Jimmy Pardo saying, what are you talking about? This is the show.
Oh my God.
And that was AST Radio. That was over, it was the show.
Yeah.
But good for them, good for you, for everybody who like kept going, and then added on other shows. Like,
there's literally single digit thousands available in the podcasting world. If you keep going, you can make approximately $6,000 a year, which is what I make doing the Dork Forest. It's fine. You know what it does? It adds to my income. It'll do.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Yes. Plus
And
you
I
get-
love doing it. So,
which helps.
which is the only reason to keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you agree?
It was,
At the-
yeah. I mean, it was, I mean, it was always fun when we did it. I had fun on all the shows I did. It was just kind of like circumstances or workloads or, interest or whatever. And then at some point I was just kind of done. It was like when I wrote a one-man show in the 90s and I swore I'd never write another one. And then I wrote another one like 20 years later.
Exactly.
Maybe not
About
10 years
air.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, about selling a jar of celebrity air. So that was me breaking a promise to myself. And but that whole time was, from like just the first 10 years of this century were just crazy when you look at all the stuff that happened, how quickly it happened, and then
Right.
rack the second 10 after that. And it's really like I know lots of techies will disagree, but iPhone, like, look at from the iPhone on, it really is it's the thing that changed everything for regular people. I remember my sister-in-law told me years after I got the first iPhone, and she said, when you walked in with that thing and I heard how much it cost, it was so ridiculous, so stupid. Now I have one. Everyone I know has. My daughters, everyone has one. I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
they do.
Well, right. And you were a tech nerd immediately. Like you were like, I'm getting this and I want this. And
that was not the case with all of the technology either. I was not usually an early.
No, you
adopter
didn't
on
have a
that kind of
laser
stuff.
disc player, I don't
No,
think.
I did not. I did order a Roku box. The millisecond they were going to stream,
Yep.
I'm like, what? What are you going to do now? I bought that box, but it was like pre-ordered it.
Right.
I just didn't believe it. Didn't
Yeah.
believe it would work. And then it worked, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I can just click on movies and not go to the store anymore.
Yep. Yeah. I actually regret that I have Chromecast instead of Roku, but we have integrated the Chromecast so deeply into our lives. I'm loath to reboot. I don't know that I could. I don't want to reinvent the wheel with remotes. To relearn a remote, I think is actually a task.
My TV screens are my laptop and my desktop. So that's the entirety of my screenage.
My mother-in-law brought a 65-inch television into our 966 square foot house. It dominates. It's like being in the movie.
So you have a movie theater now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kinda
We're
cool.
right there.
Do you just say, hey, Andy, I screened Prince of Arabia last night? Lawrence of Arabia.
Lauren, you know,
because it's 70 millimeter.
It just occurred to me that I could watch Lawrence of Arabia because I had the DVD and Andy was like, you can't see it except in the theater because it's so good, but you have to see it on a big thing. We could watch it on the 65-inch. Okay.
I definitely would. I saw that projected at the Cinerama Dome.
Wow.
And that one shot of like the camel coming over the horizon. It's like I'm literally like looking left to right. What's happening? Where? Oh, there he is. Oh, way over there. Like there's a guy in a camel.
Cinerama Dome. Wow, that's huge. That is I bet you it was gorgeous.
And it's out of business now.
I know. Now I think it's a Regal Beagle. No, I think it's a Regal it's not the Regal Beagle, but
or Regal Cinemas, is it?
Regal Cinema. Yeah.
Well, at least it's getting used.
Yeah, at least it's a movie theater. And but I remember you and Andrew Solomson getting the first iPhones and me going, what do they do? And you're like, anything you want, almost anything you want. And now I cannot separate myself. So
yeah, I am so I remember when you would call me when you were on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like, traffic's really bad. Is there something on the news or something going on?
The MapQuest shout out. You were the you were my first. It was always you were one of my first MapQuest shout out calls. And
because I worked at home.
You worked at home. You were busy spying on people, getting background checks on people, and you were around. And so
and that was the beginning of I was the first Siri, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Jackie would call me, go, "Hey Joe, /Sherry,
It's
where
like,
am I, and how do I get there?"
I was just wondering if you had any opinion about how I would get there. Yeah, and it was called a MapQuest shout out because there used to be something called MapQuest, still probably is, but we don't use it anymore. Now we're all using
Might be an
Waze,
app, could be an
Google.
app or something. Might
Yeah,
be an
probably
app.
an app. It's
Like when Kathy and I, we just went to Cape Cod, and we know, most of the way there, it's only, when you take that turn to go to the Cape, it's when
Right.
when you need it. But
Yeah.
we're so used to having it just for like speed checks and
Oh, right. Stuff on the
just
road.
like when the traffic jams up and you can just look down the phone and see, oh, it's yellow for a quarter mile, big deal.
Yeah. That's not bad. Did you
Just
end up
to
going?
have that interrupt the music once in
What
a
did you get to see? I saw you were in Wellfleet. You go to the beach. Did you
That
eat
was it.
did you eat a lobster roll? Did you?
I'm allergic to shellfish, so no.
Are you allergic to shellfish?
I am, yes.
Okay.
It's fun. It's fun. My tongue,
Right.
it was not an allergy I had until I was like in my 20s.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, shrimp and shellfish, my lips will swell up, and I guess eventually my tongue, and then I won't be able to breathe.
Right.
So
That's how you breathe. Yeah.
So I've been avoiding lobster for a long time. Yeah.
That's
But,
right.
But my friends, Eric and his wife Kathy, also named Kathy, took us out to a super fancy French restaurant where like the kitchen was open, and like
You could see?
everyone's talking French. Like
Oh,
I've never seen a kitchen where people were speaking French, just Spanish. Because that's
right. It's all
I've ever been
Spanish.
in, yeah. Not this place. A lot of French.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't hear
that's
any
awesome.
Spanish, actually. I'm sure somewhere back there. But
Yeah.
the food was just ridiculous, crazy, nice, well prepared and presented. And like when the salad showed up, it was someone had found matching sized lettuce leaves and then appeared to have piled them individually, one on top of the other. So I had a tower of salad. So it wasn't like a plate with like salad. You usually have that
Yeah.
pile of salad. It
Yeah.
was like straight up like a tower
A tower of
with all the dressing already on it and the nuts and all the stuff in there. And then you stick your fork and it all falls apart because it's so
right. But was it
I mean,
like
of
a
lettuce.
12, like 6 inches tall?
It was probably like
4?
three or four, but it was
Okay.
still like it was a salad. Like I've never had a towering salad before.
Right.
But yeah, all the food was it was crazy good. Yeah,
That is
so
great.
it's called PB something.
And it's on
If
the
you're in
Cape.
Wellfleet, there's not that many restaurants. You'll find
Yeah, there's just the couple
Yeah.
of so, and it's very pretty there. That's a beautiful place in July to go to and to look at the ocean.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, we stayed I've never stayed at a place on the Cape where it was not, drive a mile to the beach or walk a half mile to the beach. It was like the front porch was a cliff and then the ocean. Like there was nothing in front of the place.
Right.
So just a crazy long staircase of, I don't know, 60 steps maybe, which is fun with the neuropathy and a cane.
Right.
But it was fine.
What is neuropathy?
Huh?
What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is a fun thing that you get. Sometimes you get when the first 10 rounds of chemo I had, there was one drug that I can't remember the name of it, that I was supposed to go 12 rounds, but because most people can't handle more than 12, I couldn't handle more than 10. So I had a really bad reaction, like really bad. The only time I've had any problem with chemo.
Okay. Wow.
I'm literally on chemo right now. This is my pump.
Oh, there's your pump.
It's
Go to
pumping.
YouTube, everybody.
Go to YouTube, everybody. See the pump. But it's I do like 3 hours in at the hospital, and then they plug this in and it's on for 48. And then Florence, the nurse who mostly is the nurse who unplugs me, comes right here and unplugs me, and we hang out and chat, and she's really cool. And like
That's
everybody,
cool.
I deal with everybody, like Tanya at the oncology, like everybody's super cool and nice, and and I'm not their normal patient. I'm such a
No, you are not. I was going to say they're going to Yeah.
Like everywhere I've gone in my life, which I think I, always loved living in cities, which is why Albany is not really somewhere I will ever say I love, because man, when you're a fish out
It's the
in water, like,
capital.
well, it's like, when you're an odd duck and then you find all the odd ducks in the city and then you're like, oh, look, a pond full of odd ducks. Look at me. We're all
Yeah.
good. And then you go and everyone's afraid to be odd because it's whatever. I don't know. So when I'm at the chemo lounge, I'm an odd duck because I'm the only patient uses virtual reality. Like,
Oh, really? Because they
like,
have VR there.
no, they don't. I do. My friend Eric gave me a headset, and I bring the headset to no one else, no other patient has ever used VR in that place. They've never seen it.
Wow.
Because I've talked to nurses, I've talked to even the palliative care people I deal with. They asked me to do a video for them for promoting and explaining what it is and all that kind of stuff. And VR was one of the things that, because I was talking to my friend Eric about it, and I'm like, I'm going to be stuck in this apartment all winter, and I can't really go anywhere because the sidewalks are all jammed up. And VR, I had seen it a long time ago when, I was tethered to a computer and the whole deal, but it was.
Now it's Bluetooth, I guess, right?
Well, now it's all
wireless?
self-contained or Wi-Fi. You can do it without the internet. So and the thing is, like, I've got games on it, but I mostly paint. I have an oil painting program called Vermilion. It's only oil.
What's it called?
Vermilion.
Vermilion.
It's on the Meta Quest.
Right. And
headset.
does it come with?
It's literally like it's like a $15 app, and you put it on your headset and you have an oil painting studio with all the brushes and canvases. And
are you wearing gloves or something, or because the VR thing goes over your head, right?
Yeah, and you have two controllers.
Oh, okay.
So you literally you have cartoon hands inside. And because I have the neuropathy, so what that drug did was it killed nerve endings. So I can't feel a lot of my feet and a large percentage of my hands. So I have to walk with a cane because my balance is off.
Okay.
So, and that's been that way for a year and change now. So if I was actually had to paint, I would have to hold a paintbrush, and with VR, I'm just holding a controller and pressing one button. And then inside VR, if I press another button, I can move my cartoon hand and change where the brush is. And then when I let go, that's where it'll be. And then I'm just moving that controller, so I don't have to keep my fingers in any position. And that button is all I would hold anyway. So there's no touch, and what's called the haptic response. It's sound and vibration.
Okay.
It does respond to the pressure that you put on the canvas. So you do feel like you're painting, and the paint never dries. It never can ever. So you have multiple layers, and you can out it as a digital print and print your painting.
Right. Because so what VR headset are you using?
The Meta.
The Facebook
Meta
one?
Quest. Yeah, the Facebook one. Yeah. There's a new one coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
This is the Meta Quest 2. So I'm guessing the price will drop. I don't know what the price of the new one's going to be, but it's
a couple $100 or probably.
Yeah, I think the low end of the Meta Quest now is like 300 and something. I don't really think you need the huge memory because it's not, most of the stuff you can flip in and out.
And can you tour? Like what you said you were touring with it too?
Well, and that's things like there's a program called Trip that's like a meditation program. They have loops of like wild horses, and like you can sit on a beach in Spain, and you're on the beach, and it's just the beach, you and the beach.
Wow!
You can look all over and everywhere you want to look. And
can you see horses? And there's horses?
Yeah, they have one with wild horses in, I don't know where it is. It's in like a forest.
I want it to be in Spain on the beach.
Well, let's say it's in Spain, right past the beach. And then there's another program, I'm blanking on the name, but my friend Morgan, she also has a headset. She's in LA, so we've done it together, where we've gone places and been able to like look around at canyons and that kind of thing.
And can you see each other? Like, are you making an avatar?
We're avatars, yeah. Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
There's a free program called Big Screen, and we've met and watched movies together.
Okay.
Like it's a full, like I don't have, like I said, I have a laptop and a TV. This, you can choose what kind of theater, drive-in, campfire.
Right,
So you're
right.
actually like sitting in a car watching a movie.
Yeah, yeah. Just like
But they have a giant grand cinema, and it's like being at, it's like the Chinese theater in Hollywood Boulevard. It's like that kind of theater. And it's just you and whoever's there, and you can go to any seat in the place, and you can play stuff on YouTube. You can play stuff like, and movies are
right, right.
it's great. And you can rent 3D movies. 3D and VR is crazy good. Crazy.
Oh my God. 3D
And
VR.
yeah, and that's all in Big Screen free. And the other program I spend probably as much time, probably more, is called King Spray Graffiti, and it is graffiti.
It's
So,
called King Spray Graffiti.
Yeah, so subways and rooftops and walls and alleys and delivery
That lends
trucks
itself to
and,
to your interests. It really
Yeah.
feels. Yeah.
yeah, I did a 65-foot train.
Oh, that's awesome.
With we're all famous to a few people. Well, I did a different design of it, but it took me.
How's the learning curve?
I would say the learning curve on Vermilion, definitely watch the tutorials on YouTube. It'll make you a lot smarter, just because I had to know more about it for me to kind of wrap my brain around what I was going to try to do. With King Spray, just dive in. It's
Okay.
there's no undo in King Spray. There isn't Vermilion. You get nine undos.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
nine mistakes back in King Spray, just like the real world. Spray it, you bought it. But the paint never runs out on either of them, and no cops.
No cops, no
Yeah.
spray problem. Yeah. That's
And
awesome. I love
I
the
haven't
idea.
touched painting since like high school art class.
Right. So this is epic. Yeah. I love the idea of there's my mom-in-law, Chris, she watches this thing on YouTube that is the most immersive, soothing thing I've ever seen in my life.
What is it?
It's it's an Azerbaijani village. It's called Relaxing Village, Azerbaijan. And as an Armenian, let me just say that's weird, but it's fine by me. I mean, and all
Is it relaxing?
it's so relaxing. It is genuinely, it's a grandma and her son and her grandkids, and they have chickens and dogs and ducks and other animals, right? And so much like El Mariachi, remember that movie? El Mariachi?
Mm-hmm.
He cuts to the dog when they don't know where to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They cut to the animals because whoever's filming this is hilarious. I think it's the wife, but whatever it is, the son builds an oven in the yard. The grandma makes food, they cook it, and then they all sit down and eat. There's no talking. It's just ambient noise.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the mountains in Azerbaijan. So it is gorgeous. First of all,
I might have one. I might have a channel for your one I want to check out.
What's that one?
This one, it's the YouTube channel is Africam. It's Africa with an M. Donyo Donyo Loge Loge. It is a watering hole in Kenya on an animal reserve. The camera's operated by a human 24/7. It streams. It goes to night vision.
What?
You will see lions, giraffes, elephants, antelopes, a ton of zebras.
Wow.
I've seen like elephants just like put their heads against each other, like their foreheads with their tusks passing under each other's eyes, and they just like stare at each other.
Aw.
And it's just
That's
like,
amazing.
what are you guys doing? Like they do it for a long, and then they'll back up and like spar with the tusks, and like I started giving one a nickname because it had like a crazy long tusk, and then I saw an elephant like running towards the watering hole, and they were throwing dirt. They lost their tusk, like just lost it somewhere, and were throwing like mud. They were making mud out of the water and throwing it in the hole. They were like in pain.
Yeah.
And I thought it was who I had nicknamed Tusky because I'm
Yeah.
and it wasn't. And then Africam actually corrected, didn't correct me, let me know that the nickname for who I thought was Tusky is One Ton.
Okay.
It wasn't One Ton. One Ton still has a super crazy long tusk. But now there's like two elephants who have one tusk and they seem to hang out a lot together. So I
What do
don't
you
know if
think?
that's
Do we know what elephants use their tusks for? Is it just
I believe it is just for self-defense.
okay?
Other
Okay, yeah.
animals and now cool thing, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, they have a clip show with people who work with the animals and they answer questions. Like
Tuesday and
Frankie,
Thursday?
and they really do answer the question.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
so it'd be like 7.
That
But
crazy.
because I wanted to know if they fed the lions. And
oh, do
don't.
they? They do not.
So
The
animals
lions just
get
hunt.
killed. They kill them.
Yeah.
She's like all the preserves because they have like I don't know how many cameras running all these different
Right.
animal preserves, but that one with the watering hole, it's just and you can zip around on the timeline.
Okay.
There
Because the thing's on.
and the lions usually come at night.
Okay.
So there's a mom who has 3 cubs and a dad I've seen they were hanging out this morning or last night. I was watching them.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you just get to see stuff that you can see in a zoo,
Right.
and someone will zoom in and pan out and move the camera around. So I think it's part of their security system also. But
Yeah.
it's great marketing because they sell safari packages. You can stay there. It's that
Mhm.
kind of thing. And what was crazy is that I'm sitting here and I'm watching it, and Florence, the nurse who unplugs me, she had talked about always wanting to go, and she's like, I'm not going to be here for a few weeks because my husband surprised me with tickets to Africa. So they flew, like she had 3 weeks notice, like she had explained her job, like, so I'm going to be, so they flew to South Africa, and then it was like two or three puddle jumper planes to get to the National Preserve, Animal Preserve. And then they stayed there, and like she showed me a video of like driving, and animals being like right next to the vehicle, who
Yeah.
easily could kill you.
Right.
You see,
right.
yeah.
Easily.
Hi,
It's a
hi, cute
Yellowstone.
lion.
Yeah.
You're so cute.
Yeah.
Don't
Nom
kill
nom.
me. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You know that
but yeah.
Darla went to Africa, my sister.
Oh,
you know
yeah?
Darla. Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
she got a chance to go in January. She got a chance
Oh,
to go to
nice.
Kenya.
I
And
have seen pictures. Yes, right.
that's right. Yeah. And
Oh,
and she said it was amazing. And she was like, should I go? And I'm like, yeah, you should totally go.
Yeah,
You get a
'cause
chance to go
that's
to
like
Africa.
how many experiences are you going to have like that? And that's going to be,
Just the one.
I'm still pretty psyched about Wellfleet.
Yeah.
So I think Kenny's slightly more interesting than Wellfleet.
And yet,
I would
Wellfleet's gorgeous. We remember when
Wellfleet, absolutely.
Andy and I came to visit you guys, but a little over a year ago.
That's true.
And then we went to the Cape. We're for a
Where
friend
were you on the Cape?
for a friend of Andy's wedding, Yarmouth.
Oh yeah, so it's I sort of know where it is.
It's sort of in the middle. I dragged him
Yeah.
down to look at the old hot dog stand I worked at in Provincetown for 3 summers. And then I took him as a surprise to the Edward Gorey House and Museum,
Oh, very cool.
where we got to see Edward Gorey's receipts from a local diner that he went to for a long time.
Fancy.
And then we went to that diner for lunch. And it was delicious. So-
Kathy and I, we honeymooned in Provincetown because we're happy to get
That's
couple.
right.
And we did not go. We didn't go. We never left Wellfleet. We left that cabin once to go eat at the restaurant, and the rest of the time, like we got there Thursday, left Tuesday, and
You just
'cause
slept and had a
it
good
was
time.
foggy, and my sleep pattern's really weird, so I'm a hard person to visit because I'm like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna go to bed now. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
And so also a fun husband to have on a trip. But
What?
yeah, what's he doing? Yeah, sleeping.
He's sleeping.
But I get up super early and no one else is up. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
What?
5 a.m.
Right. It's what are you? I mean, your dorkdom really is fun things to do while having cancer.
No, yes,
And,
that's pretty much VR has been. It really made the winter less depressing, and I would recommend it for anybody because there is it's not just a gaming thing, and just ignore everything that Zuckerberg has ever said about VR because he's wrong.
Right.
Just
go in with a blank slate.
Well, the thing that no one explained to him is that A, no one wants to spend their life with a 2-pound brick on their head, and B, no, that's not human behavior. Virtual reality is not human behavior. It is a really cool place to go and be for a little while, and then you leave.
Right.
I'm not gonna be in there 8 hours and have meetings. No. And it's not just all about gaming. Like I said, there's meditation programs, there's painting programs, there's like 3D like sculpting, building programs, music.
Sure.
It's super and you remember it differently because it is 360.
Oh, right.
Just the way your brain sort of
So how long do you stay on?
Did you ever play Doom back in the day?
Yeah. Just the original though.
Yeah, me too. So I played Doom when I moved to LA because the day job that
me too.
Computers. It's and I never played it before. Everybody was really into it. And you would go home and you would have the dreams where you'd know which hallway and which thing and where the monster jumps out.
That first person shooter dreams.
Yeah.
It was like I remember having Tetris dreams too.
Yeah.
Back in the old days. Yeah. Where you just see bricks falling over and over and over again. Yeah.
And that's kind of like what VR is, because you are like with the meditation program, your eyes aren't closed, you're looking at whatever computer visuals that came up and someone's talking to you. So it's a much different I think it's easier for those of us who can't like just close your eyes and be somewhere else for stop thinking about stuff. I can't do.
It's very hard.
Like, you have your eyes open and somebody's talking to you and you get to look like at all this cool stuff. And I swear it was like, I'm up in the middle of the night a lot on a regular basis. And I've had cancer they gave me 15 months to live 19 months ago. So I'm in my 4th month of overdose.
Yeah, damn straight.
So I'm not even supposed to be here. So
I'm psyched you're here, man. I'm really psyched you're here.
I'm really enjoying it.
I knocked on wood and both of the dogs barked. So I enjoy life more since I got cancer. And I know it sounds crazy, but totally there's nothing like I don't have any control over any of this. And and to have friends who come to visit, and my friend Lynn comes down from Canada, Eric from Ohio, Morgan, you came from LA. Yeah.
It's and when Kathy and I were at the Cape, why this hitting me so hard, I told her, I'm like, if I didn't have cancer and I was working, we never would have came. We never would have went, because I would have said we can't spend the money.
Right.
Like, because I would have to take time off that would be unpaid.
Yeah.
And I totally went.
Just go. Yeah.
Because I can't work, because I can't feel anything, stand.
You can't.
And I don't qualify for the joys of being the freelance life in LA. I didn't work long enough as a successful freelancer or an employee to qualify for any benefit.
Oh, really?
So I talked to like a Social Security person in Washington D.C. and I was laughing because we were on speakerphone and Kathy was also in on it. And I said, well, after you talk to the state and the federal government, the next thing you do, go fund me. So that's where I'm going.
That's where you went.
That's what I told her, and that's where I went. And thanks to you and a ton of other people, I have been able to help keep everything going, because Kathy
keep the lights on.
But I was half the income and now I'm nothing. And and it's we're not luxurious livers, we're not like super fancy or anything.
And
the roof leaks,
pretty basic lives.
Pretty basic. Yeah. And I think that's the thing with like drawing and making art. I think that's the other thing. Like if you if you do happen to get cancer, another tip for you, start doodling, start drawing, start writing, start having whatever the creative outlet. If I'm not creative, well, A, shut up. You're wrong.
'Cause
You're
you are.
wrong. Everyone
Right.
who says that, including my mother, because it's proof. The creativity is not like you're not making something to go to a museum. You're not drawing a thing that's realistic that everyone's going, oh, that looks just like the real thing. Just whatever. Like I just draw stuff. I don't know how to draw. I went to art school for photography, not drawing. So
Right.
I just draw, whatever. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm making, and they also have these really cool tracing programs that you can like see through your picture to the paper and like trace your own pictures
Yep.
in sketchbook. So doodle, sketch, write, I
Anything.
say that for everybody. It's just
Yeah.
like nice to like not be on the phone and your brain does something different when you do that. And I think that's the other thing that I do on a regular basis, especially when I feel like I'm going, feeling like I'm
Right.
not super happy at the moment, and I do the what do I feel lucky about?
Yeah.
What am I? I'm lucky to have like Kathy, and who takes care of me and her mom, who
Right.
has her own health challenges and works a full-time job and
Yeah.
7 days a week, no days
Yeah.
off, and she's, I'm lucky to have her, because
Yeah.
I would be screwed
It's
in
so
this situation. And I think that little, the quick, I feel lucky about this, I feel lucky about that, and it's I think it's easier than playing the positivity game and the meditation game, and
well, I mean, I have one question about something you said 10 minutes ago, which is
Yeah, very cool.
about VR. How long do
Yeah.
you spend on a headset? 45 minutes, an hour?
It depends. If I'm painting and I'm really into it, I can knock out a couple hours, 3 hours.
But max,
If
you're
I'm,
not.
if I'm, yeah, and I pop out to like go to the bathroom and drink things, that kind of stuff, because you can't
Yeah,
really.
just curious.
For the headset.
And then
Yeah.
we were visiting you. You had been for some time growing things, and you had just started growing tomatoes.
Yeah, actually, I did the tomato plants in pots on the balcony, and then that was mixed results. And then last year I did like a real in the ground.
In the ground. We were there for
Yeah.
the beginning of that.
Yeah, that was like, it's 16 feet by 2 feet, and there are 32 tomato plants. Way too many, because I planted a bunch of San Marzano seeds, and then it was like a heat wave came through here, and I'm like, I don't know if they got fried up.
Yeah.
And so Kathy got like 11 starters, and then all the seeds popped.
Oh my God. So
like,
you were
I'm literally like digging my hand in the sand in the dirt, like pulling tomato plants and like moving them around, because they're all growing on top of each other. So
how I put my tomato plants too close together too. So you're just literally trying to get all of the root?
Well, what I do is I trim everything, anything on the bottom, I trim up.
Okay.
So I'm only, if the plants are like 6-8 inches, I'll only leave like 2 things going, and everything from there down is just the stalk.
Yep.
Because a lot of the problems that tomatoes have, that's where they start, is the leaves that are down there that just get crap on them and diseases, and it screws up the plant. And also any energy that your tomato plant is spending on the lower branches could be used on the upper ones for more tomatoes, more yield.
Yes.
And then the other thing to look for are suckers. And suckers, Google it.
Suckers?
They're if you look at a tomato plant branch, that's sort of like the V of it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle, at the bottom of the V, you'll see a branch starting to grow. You just grab it and break it off, because all it's doing is taking energy from those other 2 branches.
Okay.
And that's super common practice.
Yep.
And it goes on for a long time, but you will get more tomatoes if you nail all of them.
I want more tomatoes. It's one of the things I want in life.
Yeah,
is,
that's all I'm growing. I have basil and tomatoes. There's nothing else in the garden except for like marigold and peppermint, which is more defense stuff for
yeah.
bugs and animals. And
Yeah.
all I want is sauce. That's all
Oh,
I want is tomato sauce.
You can make a little marinara, a little nice. Little basil.
Kathy found this thing. It was great to be able to like go from, pull tomatoes off a plant and then bring them inside and then cook them and then eat them. And it never hits a refrigerator and it never tastes, but you're like the tomatoes there's more nutrition in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I do
And they're
is
delicious.
get some earthworm castings
Yeah.
and do what's called a top dressing. Just dump some tomato castings, earthworm castings, it's poop, on the dirt and then mix it in with your hands a little bit. And what'll happen is feeder roots will come up from the tomatoes and they'll start grabbing the nutrition from that. And the earthworm casting, tomatoes are very hungry plants.
Yeah.
That the food that's in the earthworm castings for them will break down over time. So
Okay.
it's like a little way to sort of like keep it going a little more,
Yeah.
especially if your dirt's been maybe grown too many times.
Right.
I would definitely suggest that. And yeah, I definitely like I've stakes on all of them. I would definitely stake them.
Yeah. I think I staked them too close together.
I know I have. I wasn't here for like 5 days, and then I didn't want to deal with it yesterday because I went to chemo and
Yeah. Chemo, that's
it
gonna
was
suck.
like 90 something degrees. I got the pump going. Yeah,
Right.
sweat it out. So yeah. I got something. I may pop out there later.
Okay. Yeah. Just pop out there, take a look, and see if.
And the other thing I do is I have one of those drip hoses. So I never use the sprayer thing. I never like pull the hose out and water. I literally just hook up the hose to that drip hose. I have it run through the whole garden. And what happens is the dirt absorbs the water a lot better because it's slower. And also it doesn't splash. The dirt, when you spray and that mud splashes up into your plants, that's all the disease and the crap goes into your plants because all the disease and the crap starts in the dirt. All the bad stuff is in the dirt. So if you're spraying and it splashes,
Andy just tells me that I'm drilling when I water too hard. There's an actual reason to not, besides digging up the plant, there's an actual reason to not get the mud on the plant itself because that's where the disease starts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also like I just go out there, I hook up that hose, and then I turn it on. I set a timer for like an hour and a half.
Okay. Oh, you do.
And then I go back and I turn it off, and that's it.
Okay.
I might move it around a little bit if I feel like it didn't soak up something, but
yeah.
But it's and that is what I did all last summer. Like I never sprayed once.
Okay.
We don't even have one. Like the one we
right.
had broke.
Well, I just use my thumb. I do the.
Oh yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah. And so what about like so you're doing. I don't know. Is it okay to talk about the other stuff that you do?
I also grow cannabis.
Yes, and it's medicinal, and
it's medicinal.
You really got into it.
It's really expensive.
Yeah,
cannabis is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I have used my cannabis knowledge on tomatoes. Like there's stuff my tomato plants get that no tomato plants. I don't think
right. I mean the fact
ridiculous.
Right. I mean that you don't do things halfway. Joe
Well,
Wilson.
the thing is, I tend to. It's got.
You're thorough. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I just got a light from this company called Intralight, unpaid plug, but they did give me lights. But it is a UV light. It runs for 1 minute a day at night, and it is at a wavelength that kills powdery mildew.
Okay.
And I've had 2 crops wiped out by powdery mildew. Kind of screws things up. It's a combination of a bunch of things, and you really have to like clean the room like it's surgery and start over again.
Oh, really?
And it came back. And so I've got stuff on deck, but that light. Yeah. So I have one, and then I have two other different UV lights that just are used for 4 hours during the 12-hour flowering time,
Oh,
because UV stresses out plants. And UV with cannabis, it stresses them out, like it'll kill other plants. Cannabis, what it does, it feels it's being attacked by the light,
yeah.
and it creates more resin, which is where the THC is. So you increase your THC by 2 or 3%, they say. I believe in enough to buy 2 lights, so it works.
Right.
Uh, But that, and then I have some under lights that are like under canopy lights, and then I have a monster light, a couple of monster lights,
Right.
that do the plants.
And do you use it for pain or did you use it for anxiety? Or both?
I mean, with the, like, I took all the puke meds I can take until 4 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'll smoke cannabis. It definitely, like, that last little bit of nausea, a lot of micro pains. It kind of takes care of it. Really, I think, helps a lot with the with the neuropathy.
Right,
And
micro
pain with a neuropathy. It's not, it's there, but it's and also I just think, like, my attitude towards it, I can't, be all angry and high.
Right. It's,
So
it's
it's kind of,
chill.
and that's, and that's the goal. And I have stolen so much information from YouTubers.
Well,
And
that's why they put it up. They put it up so you can.
it is, to take decades of knowledge from people and just go, bloop, pluck, I'll take
Yep.
that. And so I've just cherry picked. And so it's the point, the tomato plants outside will get a quote unquote inoculation of a bunch of stuff that creates,
Go lay down.
or the mycorrhizae zone is this tiny little microscopic zone around the roots. And by feeding it and creating it, and that environment, the bacteria and organisms in that mycorrhizae break down the nutrition, making it plant available. In other words, more food that's available for the plant doesn't have to spend as much time breaking it down, it grows faster.
Okay.
So that takes a bunch of different things that you put in the water. One is so biologically active, I keep it in the refrigerator. And then you mix all that stuff together, and that will be, I'll hit the tomato plants with 3 gallons of that mix.
Okay.
With
Oh,
the
wow.
plug.
Which I'm sure your tomato plants.
And oh yeah, and that's the thing, it's like they're flowers, so
Yeah.
they will be very, very happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
super crazy happy. Yeah, but yeah, if you're looking to learn how to do that, look for Build a Soil. I think is probably, it's a company, but the dude who owns it with his wife, he's super crazy smart, and he goes through full grows, and he explains, what he's doing, why he's doing it, and he'll explain to you, you don't have to buy this from us, you can get this, locally, you can make it, here's why I do it, here's, and it's that kind of sales.
Okay. That's his
which
sales technique. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, here, I'm going to show you me actually growing stuff,
Yep.
and have things go wrong, and me
Yeah.
make mistakes and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm really smart, and I'm still making mistakes. So that's, that is somebody I want to listen to.
Yeah. That's the sales technique that I prefer, quite honestly. It's just like, I have a product that and you can get it from me, you can get it from someone else. It's not the end of the world.
I've never heard him say brick will chip.
Brickle chip. My father, huge fan of the do whatever you want. Though he does like a complicated sale is one of his favorite joys in life.
Oh, I'm sure.
And when he has sold something for more, like someone doesn't haggle, he does enjoy that a great deal. I have, for merch, I have some merch with my dad's face on it now.
Mhm.
And one is just a list of my dad's sayings. It's a t-shirt. And another thing is you're
Sure
wearing,
is.
by the way, a discontinued salmon Dork Forest t-shirt. Well played. And for doing the show, of course, you do get a free t-shirt.
Wow.
And very exciting.
Fancy.
What are you wearing these days? A medium? Large? Still?
No, still running larges.
Okay, there we go. And so
And also he paints too.
he does paint. And yes.
I'd love to see him painting in Vermilion. That would be amazing.
Oh, kind of.
Put a headset on him.
Oh my God. He just got a new phone and he's like, it's a new flip phone. Do I want one of these smart things? And I was like, do you want to be on the internet? He said, no. So my sister did give him a tablet, a Samsung tablet, which I was like, well, you know that I'm going to be his IT person. I don't know how to use a Samsung. So what I did was I ripped a video off of YouTube because he has a DVD player and I burned it to DVD. And Darla sent him the tablet. I sent him the DVD and I called him up and I said, did you get the DVD yet? He said, no, I got the tablet. And I said, well, the DVD will tell you how to use the tablet. He said, well, I plugged it in. I Googled something and looked something up and I watched something on Netflix. What else? And I said, oh, throw away the DVD. You're fine.
Yeah.
That's all you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mother plays Words with Friends with.
There you go.
I don't know how many people. She has like 40 games a day.
Right. I should actually set my dad up with Wordle. I think he might like it. So the but he does. He sold a challenge coin because I sell the t-shirt with his face on it and also a challenge coin, those military. I kind of fell in love with them. And it says never say no without a number, which is one of his lines, right? And it's got his face on it, never say no without a number. I sell them for $20 each because they're $11 each. He was like, hey, I lost mine. And I was like, I know he's selling them. And I sent him 10 like a year ago or whatever. So I sent him another 10. And he called me yesterday and he goes, or day before yesterday, he goes, I sold one for $100. And I said, how? And he said, I was willing to haggle. I told him it would be $100. And the guy said, okay. And so I took his $100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm sure he's off to Potawatomi, the Indian casino in Milwaukee. But he is much, do what you want to do, Dad. You're 86.
Exactly.
I was going to ask you a question about, because I kind of now want to meta and I want to watch my favorite movie, which is Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Jack Black, The Rock, the woman who played Nebula, Kieran Gillen, which is weird because she's almost the same name as the comic book writer, but spelled differently. And the new Jumanji, which is from 2017, is the funnest movie in the world.
Really?
And if you get a chance to see that, I would love to see that on VR. Just because it is so much better. The original Jumanji, great idea, couldn't sustain it, didn't work. But so currently my favorite movie, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. My favorite TV show, Deadlock, Amazon Prime, crazy ass Australian made 8 episodes of a murder mystery. And it is a town in Tasmania that has a lesbian constable, cop, sergeant, detective. And it is ridiculously, hilariously stupid and funny and smart and all of the things. You'd either love it or hate it. Amazon Prime. And what are you watching any kind of television or reading any books? Or
I don't do a ton of reading just because my attention span seems a little not great.
Sure.
I watch a lot. I mean, we have Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and
sure,
Paramount Plus. Let's say we have passwords,
and of course,
right. And I don't watch any of them. I watch mystery movies that were made in the 1930s on YouTube.
That's right. You had a podcast where you were looking at mystery movies made in the
Well,
30s.
we were working at like classic, any kind of classic movie. So
Right. It was right. It
stuff
was a
from
classic.
the 80s. It was the last name for it was Classic Movie Salon.
Yeah. Classic movie
and
salon.
it was great because we could all watch the movie on YouTube, and then if you listen to the show or if you wanted to watch that movie, we would tell you, and you could
just go to YouTube.
Yeah, it was a great setup. But the I can't do dramatic tension, like contemporary dramatic tension.
Same.
And they didn't know how to do that in the 30s. Yeah.
Oh.
And so murder mysteries are just like, ha ha, he's dead, face down, blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like a play. It's like what?
Yeah.
Right.
So it is more like a play.
Oh, totally. Sherlock. I've done all the Sherlocks. Not all of them. I've done the Basil Rathbone, all those Sherlocks.
Okay.
Started doing the radio, Basil Rathbone, Sherlock.
Okay.
There's also an animated series, Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, that was made in Scotland. That is on YouTube. That after you sort of get through the first kind of episode where they have to set things up, Watson's a robot, but he's read all the books. And all the notes that Watson left, and Watson and Sherlock is a clone.
Okay.
And they do for an animated show that's got 20 something minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
And bangs out a mystery with some sci-fi and
that's
they're flying cars. It's kind of fun.
That's a good time.
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed that one.
That's awesome.
A lot. But again, just watch the animals in Kenya. That's the best.
Yeah, just watch it. Or now I just want people to know, because we're pushing an hour, is that Vampire Mob still out there. Hilarious, smart, funny. It is so vampiremob.com still active, or
still it's it exists. There's 2 graphic novels, a third one that's almost finished.
Awesome.
And then Play Shorts, if you go to playshorts.com, there's 5 episodes of that. Everyone's different story, different cast, different tone. Some are funny, some are a little more serious, some are
nice,
murdery. And
the GoFundMe, you guys, if you love the Dork Forest, know that it wouldn't be here. It would not be here without Joe Wilson, and I would not know what the fuck I was doing. So,
and you got way better at it than I have, because you kept doing it.
Well, because that's iteration, as we all know.
Well, you've done 10,000 hours.
Right. I think I have.
You're a podcasting expert.
Exactly. That's that guy, that tennis guy. It's not tennis. I don't know what he was. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's the 10,000 hour guy? What's that guy's name?
I know.
Everybody's yelling at their phones.
I know they are.
Everyone knows.
Is it Malcolm?
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell.
No.
No.
Is he the 10,000 hours to expert? I'm just trying to.
Andy, who is the 10,000 hours guy? Malcolm. Andy's almost got it too. And so Andy's working opposite me at
so he can Google.
This is our
in the garage. Oh, nicely done.
This is our tiny garage, but it's
I like it.
Malcolm Gladwell.
There we go, Malcolm Gladwell. Yes,
there we go.
Yes,
people knew before us, but then we caught up.
Yeah, that's an interesting dude. He's got some ideas.
Yeah. So in the notes, I'm going to put like Vampire Mob, and I'll put Play Shorts and GoFundMe, and I love you like the friend that you are, my friend. You are a delight and hilarious, and always the best.
Love you too, Jackie.
All right.
And your husband.
And Andy. And so
and it was great hanging out when you guys came to visit. We got to do that again.
Yes, please. We do have to hang out more.
And just hang out. We can do this and not record it too.
Yeah. And so yes, please. Okay. I may buy VR for my mom-in-law. And then when she doesn't like it, it'll be for me. That'll be fun.
And the one tip I will give you for the VR is buy an aftermarket headset strap thing, because the one that comes with it is garbage.
Oh, aftermarket head strap?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember the company that makes them, but
Oh, no problem.
there's a bunch
But
of them.
there's a bunch of
Amazon
them.
top rated, you'll find it.
All right. You guys, Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
Hiya, doll. How was the show?
I was with Joe Wilson,
Joe Wilson, friend of the show, better than friend of the show.
original creator of the
Original
show.
creator of the show, right?
Yeah,
Co-host of the show.
right. Weirdly enough, this doesn't seem to be
We had a lovely time with him and his lovely wife, hanging out.
Loga,
Kathy
hanging out.
Sloga, hanging out, having some breakfast over Zoom.
Yes, we did.
They live a long ways away.
They do live. They live over in the East Coast.
Mhm.
But the first 3 years was Joe teaching me how to
Right.
do this particular thing, not the Zoom part of it, just the performing, putting on a show part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he also directed your one-woman show.
Oh, he did
Back
direct
in the
my-
day.
He directed. He did an excellent job of line vetoing the script.
Yep. And a little editing of the script editing.
Script editing, directing the show was great. And
So how was this show? What did you all talk about?
well, he has the cancer.
He has the
the
cancer.
pancreatic cancer, and he's
That's
in
true.
overtime.
Right.
So
They
he's
said-
doing.
They
He's
said he wouldn't last, but he's lasted.
he's lasted. And so what he did is he talked about what he does for sort of entertainment while he's getting chemo.
Mhm.
And so we talked a lot about his VR setup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got the Facebook guy's VR setup, whatever that's called.
Oculus. That
Is
right?
it? Or
Is it?
Meta?
Meta. Well, Meta is the name of the company.
Right. I don't think it's Oculus. It might be
What
Oculus.
is
I don't
Oculus.
he might have said, but what he likes about it, he said, first of all, he's only on for like 3 hours, and don't believe whatever Zuckerberg is telling you you're going to do with the VR setup.
Right. You're gonna
He's
do
out of
something
his
different.
mind.
Okay.
He's like, nobody should be on it 8 hours a day,
Right.
and whatever he thinks is good. I was like, is it Ready Player One? He's like, it is not Ready Player One.
Not yet.
He likes watching movies on it
Okay.
because you could actually go online. You buy a ticket,
Yeah.
watch a movie in the theater,
Okay.
and you go to a virtual theater, and you
Oh.
can look around and see other people in the theater.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not the real people.
no, they're avatars.
Right,
Everybody's
okay.
avatars. It's a little bit like Ready Player One.
Yeah. That's very much like Ready Player One.
And then you could see. He said that Lawrence of Arabia, that's the way to see it.
Oh, really?
And I've never wanted to see Lawrence of Arabia, but
Really?
yeah,
Oh, it's wonderful.
I know you've told me so.
Yeah,
And somebody gave me the DVD, but you said that I should wait to see it on the big screen.
Yes.
We should wait till
Or,
we get Oculus.
or yeah, it sounds like we
Oculus
should Oculi.
Sure, Pegasus.
I like it.
And but it was a really, really great episode. We got to chat. He also has been growing tomato plants.
Yes.
And he actually gave you some hints for our tomato plants.
Yes. Better
And
tomatoes than what we've got.
and he's just whatever Joe puts his attention to, he does a good job. So it's kind of neat.
He's that guy who does everything more beautifully than you do.
Right. You have another friend like
I
that.
have another friend very much like that.
Anyway, it's a great episode. And this is Andy Ashcraft.
Hello.
We're doing the phone bonus on video now.
Bonus.
Right. It's no longer a phone bonus, except for that you're probably listening or watching this on YouTube or on your phone anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was only for people who had like certain accounts that got.
Oh no, it's not on the app anymore.
Oh,
We're not even on Libsyn.
oh, right. Okay.
This
I
has
don't-
become its own episode of the
Oh.
Dork Forest. I'm gonna try to stop recording. I wonder how that'll happen. Good for us.
No, you have to end.
I can end it. And I'm gonna say this. Remember the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?